I'm Anthony Le Suisse, and I'm the CTO here at Odoo. So I take care of the R&D department, and what we do is to develop the new version of Odoo that we release every year here. And this release is a bit special because we moved from Python 2 to Python 3. It was something that many people in the community were waiting for. And as I explained this morning, we waited a bit before going into that migration. And I think it was not a bad choice to wait because it has been easier to port the code of Odoo because of some change that happened later in the development cycle of Python 3. This presentation is supposed to last around 20 minutes, but I think I have a lot of slides and a lot of small detail to cover, so I will try to go quickly. Of course, if you want to discuss about some specific topic, don't hesitate to come. We have a workshop in the main room over there, and so one of the workshops is called the framework team, or meet people from the framework team, and I think Xavier is the developer who worked on porting the code from Python 2 to Python 3, and he's supposed to stay at the workshop, I think, today. And if you have questions, you should ask him because he's the guru. I think he's the one among our developers that knows all the nitty-gritty details about Python 3, the difference in very detailed manner. There are something that I don't know. I follow the migration, but there are some details that I don't even know, and he knows. Oops. Comment est-ce qu'on fait? Voilà. Wait. So, like I said, we did it late, but it made things easier. And first, we didn't know how to approach the problem. Should we decide, okay, one day we switch totally from Python 2 to Python 3? Should we create a branch that was Python 3 only and make it live in parallel with the Python 2 and forward port between both branches? So there was a lot of discussion in the team on how to do it. And at the end, it's Xavier that decided himself and said, okay, no, I want to do the lowest common denominator, and I will do a branch that works in both versions. And he did it, and it worked. So yeah, first we had to wait that all the library, all the code that we use are compatible with Python 3. There was a website at the time, I don't know if it exists now, but it was called the Wall of Shame or something like that, and was listing all the Python library that were not available in Python 3. So we were monitoring that website, and one day we said, oh, okay, everything is now available in Python 3, because Odoo, with all of its add-on, has a lot of dependencies. And there were three changes. I think I said it also this morning. Python LDAP was a native Python module that was binding to a library, an LDAP library done in C, and we replaced it by PyLDAP, which is pure Python. And for us, we prefer, when you have the choice, we prefer to go pure Python. And also PyPDF. It's a tool that is used, for example, to merge two PDF together. For example, if you have a lot of, you print a lot of invoices, and some of them are already printed, so you want to reuse those PDF and you want to merge them together. So we use PyPDF, and PyPDF doesn't exist anymore in Python 3. We had to migrate to PyPDF 2. Yes, like I said before, so what happened? Yes. The byte constructor, it's in plural, it's not byte like this, but appeared in version 2.7. So it allowed us to use that and be compatible both in Python 2 and Python 3. And at the opposite, we had the B constructor that appear the other way. So the fact that the developer of Python integrated some syntax from Python 3 to 2.7 and the opposite in Python 3.5, some backward compatibility for 2.7 simplified a lot the way we had to deal with strings. And strings is probably the most difficult things to migrate from one version of Python to the next one. Because of course, in your code, you have a lot of literal string everywhere. So you have to know that Odoo was almost ready for Python 3 because internally, when you use the ORM, it mostly deals with Unicode already. So it's only when you deal with the external world, when you serialize things, when you open local file, then you have to deal with other string that Unicode. But if you play with the database and the models, when you define a char, it's a Unicode. When you define a text, it's a Unicode. So most of the business code, the code that takes data from the database and send it back to the web client, and the opposite, the code that deals with the input from the web client and goes into the database, this was already Python 3 ready. One thing that is not noted here is that that's a little story about Fabien Pacars. You have to know that Fabien Pacars started to learn, maybe he did BASIC, but after his language was Turbo Pascal. Maybe some of you remember Turbo Pascal under DOS. And in Turbo Pascal, to say different, you use less than and greater than. So you use, yes, less than and greater than. And Python used to support this syntax. And of course, it's deprecated in Python 3. So we had still a lot of greater than and less than laying in the code because it was, some of it was still from the first commit we had in the repository. So at what point, Fabien lost the Subversion repository of Odoo and he started a new one. And you have the commit 1, and that still exists in Git today with the first re-import of the code source of TinyERP at the time. And you can date some of that syntax to that first commit. Another thing we had to change is the exception handling, but that's also okay because it works in Python 2.7. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, one thing that changed is that at the beginning of Python 3, you could not use the % operator to format a string with bytes. And they decided to add it back in 3.5. That's also one of the reasons we went for 3.5. And also, yes, in Python 3, you were supposed to, a simple string was supposed to be Unicode. So you could not use the U anymore, but they added it back so that when you move your code from Python 2 to 3, you don't have to add those U everywhere. So it makes the diff smaller. One thing also that changed is the way you deal with views that were called iterator in Python 2. Maybe it's not, no, it's not written here. But when you do it in Python 3, you get a view, and if you use, for example, range in Python 2, you accept to get a list, and you might want to iterate 2 times in that list, and it works. So if you define a variable and you use range, and then you do 1 for and then a second for, it works. But in Python 3, it doesn't work like that anymore because it's a view, and once you've consumed that view, then it's over. You cannot iterate on it again. So at the beginning, Xavier wanted to do something that was 100% correct. Say, okay, I want to deal with all those cases, and I will use a wrapper to make sure that every time I use range, we use my wrapper, and my wrapper makes the whole behavior like in Python 2, and so that we are sure 100% of the time that we won't get bugs. But the problem is that you introduce a lot of wrapper for nothing. So at the end, we reverted that and we say, okay, no, let's evaluate every branch, see every branch or everything that returns a collection, and see is it, do we use it multiple times or no? And I think 99 of the case it was used just in 1.4 or something like that. So we don't have to change that. Yeah, what's our policy about the Python version? The previous version, of course, stay in Python 2.7. The new version is Python 3.5 and above only, but at the moment it's supposed to still work under Python 2.7. And we don't want to break it for nothing, but I think it will happen some days that we will say, okay, no, we would really like to use this feature that is only available in 3, and it's time to break the 2.7 compatibility. So when you develop on Odoo 11, you must use Python 3, and you should not rely on that backward compatibility that maybe still exists now. And of course, the next version next year will also only support Python 3. Yeah, so by doing this, we made many different patches and many different pull requests that moved to version 3 while still running in version 2. So the migration happened in maybe 3 months, and we had different diff, like every X week we merged this feature until the end, and at the end we could say, okay, yeah, we can change the shebang of Odoo. And yes, one thing that we had to change is also the way you import modules. It's a huge diff, but it's very simple because it's at the top of every file. And when Xavier was working on that, he was running locally in Python 3, but he was still pushing his branch, and it was still tested in Python 2.7 because we didn't update yet the tooling to use Python 3. And one day, we adapted to Runbot because I think in Runbot it was hard-coded Python. So we said we patched Runbot to use the shebang and not use the Python hard-coded. And one day we changed the shebang and the migration was done. We had to use some wrappers. We have a module named PyCompat with the few wrappers that we use or some constant. For example, for integer types, text types, string types, because you cannot do something that is easily backward compatible on the 2 version, or unless you want to add many ifs or long lines, we use those constants to check if it's an integer or not. Because if you want to use long in the version 3, either you define it or you have to do some if, and it's ugly. So the ugly code happens there, and in your code you can use those wrappers. We have a documentation about PyCompat and the wrapper that we define. Oh yes, something that we had to change is the way you do HTTP request. So in Python, in Odoo, we were using mostly URLlib with URL open, and we decided to switch to request because it works the same in both versions. But it means that we added the dependency on request. Maybe the dependencies was already there. So now everywhere in Odoo, when you do an HTTP request, it uses the library requests. So yeah, around string, yeah, we had also another problem is the fact that yes, we in Odoo since the beginning we do a strange thing with binary fields. in the binary field, we store something in base 64, and at the RPC level, we return it as a string, but in base 64. So it's a bit strange, but it was made to, we decided to do that at the very beginning of Odoo to use XML RPC, and we stick with that for backward compatibility on a protocol level. And we decided not to change that in the new version, so we still use base 64 encoded string while we are running in Odoo, and it's a bit strange. But the difference now is that those base 64 encoded string are in bytes and not in int string. One of the reasons is that in Python 3, base 64 encoding and decoding is only supported at the bytes, on the bytes type. You cannot take an Unicode string and say, move it to base 64 and the opposite. So when you define a binary field, it will give you bytes, but you are supposed to store base 64 stuff inside. So it's still something that is not very nice in the Odoo framework. And it works with both our protocol. We still support XML RPC and JSON RPC. In XML RPC, we had to do a small tweak in the serializer of XML RPC to support the bytes, because it's not supported by default. By default, it's supported, but it encoded in a binary type of XML RPC, and we don't want to do that. And we do it globally, so it means that if you want to use a XML RPC, maybe client, I'm not sure, with an external server in your business code, you might stumble on a problem because we had to change that globally. Like I said before, you have to pay attention when you call keys, value, items, etc. You don't get a list anymore, but you have a view that you can iterate on it. You can even change the value, but you cannot do it twice. And if you are unsure when you use keys, values, or items, you can still use list around it to convert it into a list, and then you are sure. So in case of doubt, you can still do that. Also, it's the same for map and filter that used to return list too, and they don't do anymore. In Python 2, you could use the iter items, iter values, iter, and those are deprecated. And my opinion is that people like those view things because it's lazy, but I think, and it might be more performant in some use case, but I think usually it doesn't really matter. So even if you have to allocate a list, in most of the use cases, it doesn't matter. It matters when you have things that you cannot put in memory, and doesn't happen very often. You have to know that at the moment, when you send a request to Odoo, or when Odoo sends back a response to you, everything is in memory at some point. We don't stream the whole stack doesn't stream everywhere. So those lazy stuff, they get interesting, but you have to make sure that every step in the stack is actually lazy, and then you can say, yes, my server can handle a request more than 1 terabyte, even if he has less memory, because I stream everything. But because we don't do that for the reply and the parsing of requests, I don't think it's a problem if you allocate a list. So don't be picky about being lazy. But that's my opinion. Oh yes, they change. When you order in the keys of a dict, it was unspecified in Python 2. Then in Python 3.3, it's randomized. In version 3.6, it's ordered by the order you put the key in the dict. But it's not guaranteed. They do it in the implementation, but in the specification of the language, they don't guarantee it. But I think for version 3.7, they will actually guarantee it. So there was a lot of change here in Python 3, and we had some trouble when we load the modules, or I don't know, but I know that we had some things to do related to that. Oh yes, and you have a flag to return the key in random order, so that maybe you can run a few times your code and make sure that you don't depend on that behavior. I think if you target 3.7 and they officialize things, then you will be able to rely on the fact that they return order keys. Yeah, the way we handle files. So what happened in Python 2, when you open a file, it's like Unix, you work with bytes. In Python 3, when you open a file and you don't specify binary, you work with STF, which is actually Unicode. And so it has to encode and decode locally, because Unix or even Windows below use bytes. So what I don't like about Python is that it's dependent on the system. It doesn't use UTF-8 by default. It depends on your local. And I think on Windows, it might use code page something, and on Unix, usually it uses UTF-8. I think there is a proposal now to always stick to the default UTF-8. But I think it was a bad decision, but it's something you really should care about if you open file or do I/O. What I suggest is that you work on bytes level, and then if you need to work on Unicode, you can still decode with a decode function on your bytes. That's what we try to do. We had also a very very special bug with literal eval. So literal eval is something that you can use to evaluate some Python expression, but like JSON. It cannot be code. It can only be data like dict and list and that kind of stuff. And it's something we use to parse the manifests. And actually, in Python 3, it's okay. But in Python 2, the parser can work with Unicode, but even if you give him Unicode string, it will still try to parse the command with coding, and if you give him a Unicode string with a command with coding UTF-8, it will crash, because it will say, I should parse it as UTF-8, but you already give him a Unicode string. So that's a strange bug we had while parsing the manifest, and I think it's a bug in Python 2, and they should fix it. Yeah, so what I advise is to use bytes and convert yourself to STR in Python 3, so Unicode, by yourself using decode. Yes, like I said before, I advise to use items. I advise you to open your file in binary mode, and you can use try except. I don't understand why it's on the side. Olivier, why did you put try except?
Because there are three ways.
There
are different ways to decompress, so you could.
If you want to do both.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to do both, yes, you could use I tried a version in Python 2, then I fall back on another one, and you have duplicated code. Or you can use if version is this version, else version is this version. Or you can use our PyCompat stuff, and usually it's more elegant, but sometimes you have to do, I think we should grep, and maybe it remains a few lines of code that use a if. But we try to, it's like in C, when you use if def, usually it's a bad sign, but sometimes you really have to do it. So, yes, you have to run tests. So we we had run bot executing all the tests, and one day it was green on Python 3, so we were not sure that everything works, but it was a good step to get everything green in Python 3. Yes, you have to know that you cannot compare. Before, you could compare many things together in Python 2 because, for example, the false was actually also an integer, so you could compare things. Now, Python 3 is more strict about what you can compare and not compare. But for Odoo, it's a bit annoying because when you have a null colon in the database, it returns you a false, and sometimes you wanted to compare that false value with some string, and it doesn't work anymore. So you have to use OR. For example, if you have a string that represents a date, and you could compare it, was it bigger or lower than another string that contains a date, but if you don't have a date defined, you will get a false, and that won't work anymore. Yes, when you deal with the external world, you have to serialize things and parse things, so it's like when you open files. So you have to you have to take care about before, for example, in Odoo we had the USTR helper. It's still there, and the USTR helper was doing everything you can do to convert to a Unicode string. And in Python 3, I think the split between byte and string is more strict, and you cannot do decode on a byte string. So, for example, we used to play with encoder and decoder on string, like before there was the base64 encoder, for example, and we used it on bytes. Now you can only decode and encode. It's to transfer from Unicode to a specific code page. And before in Python 2, there was some codecs that were not really codecs, but some kind of, hacks, and they removed that. And so you have to be careful. Oh yeah, another thing that we had quite many problems with, it's integer, and when you divide to integer, now you get a float, and that's a big change. So the quick fix is, of course, to use the integer division, and then you're safe. And actually, the integer division can be used on float too. It returns a float, but rounded. And there is a huge change, I think, in Python. It's the rounding behavior. So before version 3, the rounding was done from 0.5 you go up. But if you round like that, it's not uniform. And Python now applied the real rounding like everybody else does, which is called, I think, the Banker's rounding or the even rounding. And the even rounding round above or below depending on if it's even or odd. And that makes things more uniform. So from a mathematical point of view, it's better. To explain it to children in primary school, it's more simpler to explain the 0.5 go up because it feels more natural. But and we had quite a few issues with integer division and rounding. The rounding was easy to fix because the code of Odoo is well done, and we use a helper everywhere we do rounding. It's called float round, I think, and we only had to fix that and maybe a few parts of the code. Just on time. Do I have time for questions? Yeah, okay. So if you have any question, I have to tell you that we published a small guide to help you convert your code from Python 2 to Python 3, and also it sends links also to other guides that the Python community published. Yes?
You mentioned that it is backward compatible and it will also work in 2.5.
At the moment.
At the moment, but till when you will be supporting that?
Until we think we need to merge something that breaks it.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
maybe it's already done because we don't test it anymore in 2.7. On Runbot, it's tested in 3. On my computer, I run the 3 version, so maybe it's already broken today. I don't think so, but it might be.
And is there any performance issue will be there?
From a performance point of view, I think there was almost no change between Python 2 and 3. So it's a good news. We were afraid of that, actually. And any other question? Okay. So thank you. What's the next talk?